there are like three different buckets happening in my PhD that I think would probably all interest you,
Okay.
uh, some more than others. Oh man, where do I start? So, okay, I'll start with my research, but I think you're gonna really want to probably hear about the clinical rotations I have right now.
Awesome.
Um, Both of them, I think you'll want to hear about it. So anyway, so my research is I'm at Oregon Health and Science University, which is a very large uh, level one trauma center, like a teaching hospital in
Right.
Portland. It's like Portland's version of like a Johns Hopkins or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that type of thing. Not as big as, I mean, Hopkins is huge, but it's kind of like that. And yeah, so I'm here for 5 years. I'm 3 years in, or I'm in my third year, and I got admitted. I mean, first of all, these clinical psychology PhD programs are just just brutally cutthroat in America. It is absolutely astonishing how there's way harder than med school to get in, way harder than law school. It is, and I think it's because of the licensure. I don't know, but anyway, I got admitted to this program after doing a handful of years of research and publishing some papers at University of Washington. I was working in epidemiology at the time, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, so at the time I was doing decision making research, which is I was really, what I was doing is behavioral economics research. So if you've ever heard of Daniel Kahneman, Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow,
Good book.
he's sort of one of the godfathers of behavioral economics. That is the the ballpark of sort of where I'm at. So I got admitted to the translational neuroeconomics lab, and basically what we do is we part of what we do is we sort of make mathematical models of people's decision making habits under different constraints or in different circumstances. And so, in particular, what we do in my lab is we do substance use research in humans or rodents. I don't do my advisor does the rodent. I don't do that.
Yeah.
So I study substance use disorders, particularly right now. I'm getting ready for my dissertation. I'm studying relapse, but the primary sort of I suppose the primary sort of variable that we study is something called delay discounting. Uh, what's the simplest way to work that in? So, okay, so if you in like an undergraduate psychology program, a lot of times people will have like a brief lecture on the marshmallow test.
Oh, yes.
You remember that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's like a
Okay,
good
great.
predictor of success, right? To postpone gratification.
Right, exactly. So the marshmallow test is the most sort of elementary basic way to understand what delay discounting is. Delay discounting is sort of you're choosing a well, if you're impulsive, you choose a smaller sooner reward over a larger later reward. And the farther away from you temporally, like on a timeline, the farther away from you something gets, the less you value it. So you know, $100 a month from now is sort of subjectively worth about $20 to me today. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mm, mm.
And delay discounting is there's been some really unbelievable genome-wide association studies that have sort of found particular sort of genetic mutations that appear to be responsible for that
Interesting.
trait,
Yeah.
and it also appears to be heritable. And delay discounting is there's a insane amount of research on how predictive high levels of delay discounting is for various psychiatric disorders.
Interesting.
And obviously, the easiest one to understand is addiction
Yeah.
because I mean, it's almost too easy. It's like if I am addicted to heroin or alcohol, what happens is as the stimulus of alcohol or heroin, as I get closer to relapse. So this is sort of my dissertation. Okay, imagine that I just got out of a treatment facility. I've been sober for 30 days. Prior to me going into the treatment facility, I experienced 10 years of absolute horror. Let's say I'm a heroin addict and it was just 10 years of pure misery. Maybe I'm homeless. Maybe I lost my kids. Maybe I lost my wife. Maybe I lost my job. I've got 10 years of just abject misery at the hands of addiction. I go to treatment. I get 30 days of sobriety under my belt. I go to a place like Malvern Private Hospital, which is so successful at doing this. And I go to treatment. I get out. And now I've got 30 days under my belt of the first modicum of peace and reprieve I've experienced in a very long time. And I can actually give you a perfect example. This is a true story. So one of my best friends is a recovering heroin addict. He's an incredible filmmaker, and he's been sober now for a long time. But he's a recovering heroin addict. He tells this really beautiful story that actually was part of what inspired me to do my dissertation the way that I designed it. He was in a 12-step program, and he was coming off of heroin. He'd been off of heroin for like, I don't know, a couple months or something like that. And he was living in Seattle. He's in downtown Seattle, 3 months off of heroin, and he's going to the bus stop. In downtown Seattle, on Pike and Pine, anybody who's ever been to Seattle knows what I'm talking about. On the corner of Pike and Pine, it's a pretty sketchy.
I see.
Anyway, he's 3 months sober. He gets to the bus stop, and everything in his life is going better. He got a job. His family trusts him. He's feeling physically better. He's not going through withdrawals anymore. He doesn't have to take methadone every day. Everything in his life is getting better. Every metric of quality of life is improved. And he's walking down the street. He's getting on the bus, and a guy comes up to him, and some sketchy guy comes up to him, and he goes, "Hey, man, do you want any tar?" Just code for heroin. He goes, "Do you want any tar?" And my friend goes, Yeah, I do.
Bang.
30 minutes later, he's shooting heroin in the bathroom of a 7-Eleven.
Wow.
And so what I'm trying to understand is what is happening how are those memories being discounted?
Mm-hmm.
Because he has X amount of years of memory stores of the horrifying physical and emotional pain of addiction. And he's got this more recent set of memory stores looking at or sort of experiencing, man, this is everything in my life is so much better. But something happens that as you take that stimulus of the drug of choice, as it gets closer and closer and closer, it becomes more and more salient. What happens is all of those memories are neutralized. We don't know. They're either neutralized or they're modified. Whether they're neutralized or modified or whatever, they are not accessible in a way to be able to leverage behavior change.
Mm-hmm.
He can't tap into that in that moment. He cannot tap into it. And it's the myopia. There's an area of research that's unbelievable called alcohol myopia theory. It's absolutely fascinating. And there's sort of this myopia that comes over the person, and then all they can think about is the drug, and they can't access those memory stores.
Right.
Anyway, sorry, that's a very long-winded way of concise sort of explaining that is my current line of research. That's what I do right now.